Welcome to Why Though the Podcast.
We did it! That was amazing! Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Why Though the Podcast, episode 2, baby.
Wow, we made it.
We made it.
Congrats to us.
Congrats to us. Before we get into the actual advice, and boy, do we have a doozy for you guys today, I have to go over something really important.
Okay.
This is some of this will be on YouTube. We hope to get full episodes up on YouTube soon. We got a little bit of growing pains. We're still new. However, Lizzy messages me this morning via Slack, and I'm like trying to get ready. I'm like, okay, I gotta go. I gotta eat breakfast, and I gotta get ready. And she goes, okay, just for the record, I'm wearing a Christmas sweater. And I thought to myself, what does she mean? No. I want the listeners to know she's wearing a red sweater with Mickey and Minnie Mouse in Christmas hats. It also has stars, mistletoe, gifts, and candy canes.
It's a Christmas sweatshirt. It's a sweatshirt.
It's incredible.
It's like my favorite sweatshirt, and the fact that it is a though I like the way it fits, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
it's cute.
It's the fact that it is Christmas is just sort of an added bonus.
Yeah. It sparks immediate joy. I make no mistake. This is not me criticizing.
No, yeah.
This is me thinking, does she mean just like a red sweater? Or maybe it's both red and green and she just calls it... Nope,
it's Christmas.
She committed, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's so sad to have items of clothing that are only for like a week or a month max. And I am not even like... I mean, I like Christmas. I'm a human being, but I'm not like a religious person who celebrate Christmas. I celebrate Hanukkah. But I just like to wear my Christmas sweatshirt.
I think more people should wear their Christmas clothes if they want to. I have a lot of like... I'm big into Halloween.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm one of those people, you know what I mean? Like, I try not to be annoying about it because I do think Halloween people are a little annoying. Hot take for a different day. But I have a lot of things with, like, skulls and graves and ghosts and I love to wear that stuff. But it is very, like, ooky spooky Halloween time.
Goth.
But it's fine. I would never say that because I feel like the real goths would not be mean to me because goths are really nice and cool. I grew up with a lot of goths, but I don't think they'd accept me. And that's okay.
It's not just a skull here or there, Destiny. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Cure is one of my favorite bands, so please be nice to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone be nice to Destiny. And also, I think you should feel super okay about wearing a Halloween, sweatshirt, shirt, earrings.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that.
This is a safe space for fashion expression.
Yeah, for all. I agree. And we're here for advice. In case you didn't know.
Yeah, this is an advice podcast. Why Though is my advice column. I'm Lizzy Acker, BTW. I'm a reporter for the Oregonian, Oregon Live, and I have an advice column called Why Though. It comes out on Tuesdays. Check OregonLive.com. But now I also have Why Though the podcast.
We absolutely do. I'm Destiny Johnson. I don't write an advice column called Why Though, but I am an avid reader, and I was an avid reader even before we started this podcast. I just have some podcasting experience. So we're doing this venture together. If you didn't catch our first episode, you can, wherever you get your podcasts, and we talk a little bit about who we are, how Lizzy got into advice giving, why we're doing this, and that we hope you come along with us. So if you made it to episode 2, thanks so much. We're going to get into some real advice. Like, this is real advice that will be in the column that Lizzy will write next week that you can find on Oregon Live.
Yes.
So we're going to kind of work through it live.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the question.
Shall we just get into the advice,
Let's
Lizzy?
get into advice.
Oh, my goodness. I am so excited because I did read the question a little early, and it is, I think, a good one.
Okay, good. I'm always accepting questions. Send them in. The best part is it's anonymous, so, I'm not going to blow up your whole life. I'm just going to help you.
And Lizzy does a great job about, working with you about your question. We'll change genders. It could be your sister, and we'll say it's your uncle.
Yeah.
All sorts of things to make sure that you're getting the good advice without being the passive-aggressive person in your family. All right, Lizzy, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. This is from Hair Crazy. Hair Crazy says, Dear Lizzy, I recently found, accidentally, the Twitter account of the woman who cuts my hair. I absolutely love the haircuts she gives me, and she's really the only person who does it right. But her Twitter, ... She posts some pretty vile and almost violent political memes. I found her because she was responding to a local figure with these memes. I really love her haircuts. What do I do? Signed, Hair Crazy.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
Ooh. You know, let me start by saying I understand. It's hard to find someone to cut your hair. To get it right, it could take years to find that person. So it's not like a relationship you let go of lightly. However, I mean, my immediate reaction is, I'm so sorry, you need to find someone else to cut your hair.
I mean, I would agree. Listen, I saw the same person who cut my hair for 10 years.
Right.
Through all of middle school, through all of high school. Shout out to Hair Marshall out in Pasco County, Florida. And it is, the person who cuts your hair, it's not just like when you go to the doctor or the dentist or whatever, because you talk to them. So it kind of becomes this infrequent, like, semi-parasocial relationship.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, it's like, it is kind of like a parasocial relationship, which is sort of like a relationship that you have with someone you don't really know. But I think semi is the right word, because you kind of know them. I mean, I am Instagram friends with this woman who cut my hair in San Francisco, and I would go there. I had short hair at the time. She was so good at cutting my hair, and she was so sweet, and like, I know about her whole entire life. We're Instagram friends. I don't live in San Francisco anymore, so she no longer cuts my hair. But it took me a long time to find her, and I only recently, I feel like, found someone else who I feel like, oh, she really gets my hair. Or at least she's not giving me a haircut that costs $1 trillion and makes me feel like a middle-aged lady. Which I guess I technically am at this point, but, I don't want to feel like that.
That's the other side of it, too, is that hair, for anybody of any gender expression, can be a really big part of who you are.
Right.
And how you present yourself to the outside world. My hair is half red and half blonde. What does that say to the world? Maybe
that you're fine.
Okay. I wasn't going to go there, but thanks. I was going to say, maybe I'm a little obnoxious. I don't think that's the case. But, you can care about what you look like without being shallow and terrible. And so having somebody who helps facilitate you feel like the best version of you can also be something difficult to get. But, violent memes, violent
is not good. Everybody has to decide within themselves what their line is. Because we live in a super polarized time, and there's a lot of people who feel sort of like the opposite of what you feel in some ways. For me, I think if you know that somebody is basically devaluing human life or being violent, like, that's a line for me. I would say once you know it, you can't unknow it. And do you want to be giving this person money? First of all, money, which is how we, in our capitalist society, say this is a good thing that I like, is money. That I don't think you don't want to give that person money anymore. But also, do you want to be sitting in a chair with that person with scissors?
Literally.
I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, where you put your money is where you sort of are saying you're okay with things, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I know people who don't use Amazon for many reasons.
People that are better than me.
Also better than me. I understand the issues, and they're not great. I agree with that. Yeah. But everybody has to have their line, right?
Right.
For me, this would cross my line, particularly because, oh, man, I mean, don't you have friends in protected spaces? Like, I'm sure you have queer friends, or even, I've seen violent memes about journalists. You know what I mean? Like, any class of person.
Women.
Certainly women, yeah. There are just a lot of boxes that could be checked for me in a violent meme
Right.
that would make me feel actually unsafe.
Yes, totally.
I guess you have to ask yourself,
Mm-hmm.
hair crazy,
Mm-hmm.
if that's a factor for you. If yes, then absolutely go somewhere else.
Right.
If no, then I think you have to contend with the money issue, right?
Right.
Where are you
Mm-hmm.
putting your money and why
Right.
are you doing that?
Right. Mm-hmm. You know, violence, for me, yeah, it's a line, and I think, like, the thing with a relationship with a hairstylist is unless it's your mom and she's cutting your hair for free, it's ultimately a business relationship. And I've had to break up with hairstylists, for different, mostly hair related reasons, but, other reasons too. And as women especially, and I don't know if we've decided, this is probably a woman, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember, I'm not looking at the question, but even if you're not a woman, but we'll say we've been socialized to not rock the boat, to not hurt people's feelings, and it's in a lot of business relationships, we sometimes take things too personally. We make it too personal, even with a job. Actually, a question that we had I had my column, like, last week was about, like, should I find a new job? My boss is mean to me, kind of thing. And sometimes it's really hard to quit a job because you feel like you're hurting somebody. But actually, it's a business relationship. So we really need to remember that. Like, the other side, this hair salon could shut down tomorrow, and they wouldn't care about you.
Right.
Like, you could get laid off tomorrow, and that's, it's a business. That's not a person. So anyway, I think ultimately I'm gonna say, find a new person to cut your hair. So sorry. Such a bummer. It's a journey, and it might take a while. I feel like I should show the picture of. I sent Destiny this picture of a pretty rough haircut I got a couple years ago. That, like, what? That haircut really made me realize, like, I don't need bangs. You know what? Don't need bangs.
I think you would look cute with bangs. I just think that particular haircut did you dirty, but I think you look cute without bangs too. I've had bangs since I was a child, so I keep them. I mean, I'm inclined to agree with you. You got to find somebody else to cut your hair, because this is ultimately, while it is annoying and inconvenient to find a new hairstylist, we've all been there.
Yeah.
Ultimately, like, this is a skill that other people have. It's not a skill that I have. Not everybody has this skill,
me.
but the people who are qualified to have this skill have this skill. You will
Right.
find another person, particularly if you live in the city. It doesn't obviously say where you are, but there are a lot of hair salons here.
Right.
Right? So, like,
and you
just
probably have friends,
suss it out.
like, ask them where they get their haircut.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be okay, but do you want to be giving your money, your time, and possibly your safety, honestly? I mean, if someone is... I know it's not like just because you say something violent means you're violent, but wouldn't want to risk it myself.
Yeah.
Like,
I also
kid.
personally wouldn't make jokes about violence.
No, exactly. Like, why would you? And I've been thinking about this recently because, my child, this is maybe, like, off topic, but at some point, your kid's gonna go over to people's houses you don't know, and I'm definitely gonna be that mom who's like, do you have guns at your house? And I'm maybe, unless they can really show me that these are guns safely put away somewhere, I might just be like, come over to our house. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even need to mess with it. I don't even need it in the environment, really.
And I think ultimately it kind of goes back to those boundaries.
Right.
And listen, I've been called confrontational once or twice in my life. I would say that I'm only viewed as confrontational because I can't live with conflict, so I'd rather just have it out. You know what I mean? I can't sit and know that there might be conflict. I just it needs to be over, and whatever the outcome is whatever the outcome is. And so let me lend you a little bit, a sprinkling, if you will, of confrontational girl magic. You don't have to be rude. You just don't have to go back. And if she reaches out to you, you could make up any reason if you wanted to. I moved. I am not getting my hair cut anymore. I
Right.
buzzed my head. Like, literally, just pick a
anything.
reason. You are not beholden to this
Right.
person. You're not beholden to give truth to this person if you don't want to.
No.
This is not a relationship you're interested in maintaining because they have different views than you. That's okay. Do I
Right.
wish the world was less divided? Absolutely. But
Yeah.
that's also not the reality we're living in.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, I would even say if she reached out to you, you don't even have to respond.
absolutely not.
Like, you know, I recently got a bunch of emails I didn't respond to, and I feel okay about it.
You don't owe nobody nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you will find someone else who can cut your hair.
You absolutely will.
Yeah.
But do you think that there is a case where the answer is it's fine?
Just forget about it. Forget what you saw.
Yeah, because like in the vein of like things we're complicit in, you know,
Right.
you and I
You're
utilize Amazon. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Not, but many stories you can find if you give it a Google about workers' rights issues.
Certainly.
I'm not making any defamatory
No.
statements about Amazon, but you can Google
Right,
it and
right.
find some things.
I mean, and like pretty much anything we have, right? Like I've got an iPhone right here. That's a Mac.
Absolutely.
You know, like whatever, a computer.
I use Twitter.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. So like,
we are complicit. I mean, that's like part of being a person, like, you know, not to constantly harp on capitalism, but it is the problem. I mean, obviously, I'm wearing it's not, it's a Mickey and Minnie sweatshirt. You know what I mean? I'm involved in capitalism, but it is the root of a lot of problems. Anyway, yes, maybe there is a case. I just think I have had to, for myself, come up with a line, and I think that, you know, I'm like trying to think of a way to say this, but like Nazis, right? Like we can agree Nazis are bad.
yeah.
And sometimes that seems like there's people who might not agree with that, but that's for me. That's, I think, a line, right?
Yeah.
Or and because there are people, you can disagree with people about subjects, or you know you can disagree with people on certain things, but when somebody doesn't believe you have the right to exist, that's not disagreement. To me, that's like a fundamental difference in morality.
Mm-hmm.
I think all people, not to be political here, but I think all people deserve to exist.
Mm-hmm.
And so on any level, when if it comes down to someone who thinks there are certain classes or groups of people that do not believe to exist or should be harmed physically, that's my line, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you can disagree with me on certain, like, issues, quote unquote, but I think if you disagree about certain issues, you know what, you can have a different religion than the person who cuts your hair. You can have different likes and dislikes.
So do you think if these memes were just snarky but maybe rude, the line would be blurrier as opposed to like
so.
the violent situation?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think the violence makes me feel like violence is directed towards somebody, right? So I don't know who it is, but that's for me where it's like, nope, nobody deserves to be hurt or killed.
Yeah, in my journalist brain, Hair Crazy said that they had seen this because they were sending these memes to a public figure.
Oh, yeah.
Public figures exist in public jobs and thus are open or should be open to criticism, right? We should all have the ability to criticize public figures, people who work in government, people who are in charge of the way that we live our lives, that we voted into this position, right? Because we voted them in, thus they should be open to criticism.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have beef with that, like if you want to send memes or whatever to public figures, but again, it's the violence issue. Like if you can disagree about whatever you want, and you can also, I can't stop you from believing in violence, but that is your beef that you want to put on the internet and says something about you.
Right. Yeah.
That's like a little embarrassing.
Right. Totally. And you know, like, there's another side. Like, if you didn't know this, I'm not saying you need to, like, vet every single person who cuts your hair, does your nails, you know, even like the daycare provider or whatever. I mean, okay, you should definitely vet your daycare provider. But like, once you know this, you can't unknow it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So you might not go looking for it, but if it comes to you, then you can't just put your head in the sand and say, I'm going to forget this happened. It's not much of a stance to take, to be honest, to quit your hairstylist. In terms of the, like, sacrifices we're making for a better world. If that's what you're doing, and that's not too big of a sacrifice. In my opinion, that's, like, the smallest thing you can do.
I agree, and I also kind of, like, it's not that I don't see the dilemma here, because I've certainly been in a kind of situation where I was like, ooh, I didn't love that haircut, but I would never say anything, I don't think, in the chair.
Right.
You know, even as confrontational as I can tend to be. So I understand, like, where the strife comes from, but I also think, wouldn't you feel a little proud if you were, like, walking away from somebody who, like, is so extremely dissimilar to you that it made you have this thought? Like, you did something for self-preservation, and you should be happy about that. Do I think your hairdresser is going to attack you in the chair? No. Mm-hmm. But also, like, you could go find somebody who, like, doesn't do that at the very least.
At the very least, someone who doesn't think some people deserve violence.
Also just minds their P's and Q's on social media.
Right. It's not that hard not to tweet.
Yeah, it's super hard. It's like equally as easy as not being a jerk.
Right.
So like I don't.
I mean, I think it's even easier not to tweet than to not be a jerk, because lots of jerks just keep it to themselves, at least on social media.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I think we're kind of in agreement on this one.
Yeah, I say get a new hairdresser.
Get a new hairdresser. Google.
Learn to cut your own hair. I did that for a long time.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, I really loved Hair Marshall.
Yeah, I know. A good hairstylist is really good, though.
I know. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't have any hairstylist recommendations. I go to Ulta. So.
You go to Ulta? They cut hair at Ulta?
They sure do. They have hairdressers who, like, rent the space. They're like hired by Ulta, but they like each.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're their own hairstylist people. Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I see like a different lady each time, and it's always like kind of fine.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had good, I've had bad. If you're not looking for that kind of variety in your life, I don't blame you. But I also have the, you know, I will fix my own hair with a pair of like rusty scissors sitting on my sink like Gollum at 3 a.m. So
I'm impressed. I cannot do that.
Thanks. I've had bad hair though. You've seen photos.
Well, I think it was cool.
Thanks.
I was never. I mean, as a non-blonde, you know, I did once have my hair was fully blue.
Mm-hmm. It was cool.
It was pretty cool, and I've had parts of it blue. But you know, to get this color hair, which you can't see if you're not watching, but I have very dark brown hair. Sometimes people say it's black, but it's not black, it's just very dark brown. To get that to a shade where you can dye it colors, it requires a lot of bleach, and I've always been kind of like jealous of people who can just make their hair be another color. Like, oh, it'd be so fun to have pink hair. I will never dye my hair blue again because it lasted distressingly long.
That's blue hair dye, though.
Yeah.
It's, like, infamous for that.
I got it. I know it was 2016, and I was getting blue cut out of my hair at least halfway through the Trump administration.
Incredible. Yeah, I am naturally blonde, so, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't.
It's okay.
Can't relate.
Just,
I'm so sorry.
Check your blonde privilege.
I know. I haven't been blonde. I mean, I am half blonde right now, but I haven't been blonde since I was probably 12. Oh, wow. I've been dyeing my hair for a long time.
Wow.
So I don't even know what its natural hair color is anymore. It's probably not blonde anymore.
I bet it's, like, light, though.
It's probably light. Yeah, definitely lighter than yours. You do have dark hair, and I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You know, it's I've learned to deal with it. I'm actually okay with it.
No, it looks great. I mean,
I feel like
I always wanted darker hair.
I have lots of it, too.
I dyed my hair black for years, which was, like, a real move. I know you can't see me unless you're watching this, but I'm pale, and I know you're thinking of a certain shade. About 5 shades lighter than that. So,
I know several people from Florida now that I'm friends with, I would say, and they're all, like, the palest people. Like, I'm like, what's going on with you? And they're, like, not beach people necessarily.
It's because the sun in Florida is a punishing laser.
Yeah.
It's like here in Oregon, we have what is that? Like Stockholm syndrome? What is it, where you like fall in love with your abuser? Because all year round, 9 months out of the year, it's just rainy and cloudy and whatever. And then when the sun comes out, it's like, first of all, not as hot or humid as it is in Florida, but also like you don't have central air conditioning, but so you forget about how warm it is because you're so vitamin D deprived.
Yeah.
In Florida, you walk out and it's just like, it's trying to kill you. So like,
I mean, it does. But yeah, you know, after like 1 week of sun here, I'm like, well, I've got a mid-August tan because I cannot stop being in the sun. Like, put on sunscreen or just like I'm just gonna go for a bike ride for hours because I can be in the sun. Like, the feeling's so amazing.
I call it lizard time.
Yeah.
It's lizard time. I gotta go have my lizard time. I gotta go sit in the sun and just soak it up like a lizard.
That's a really good way to describe it.
Yeah. So people here where the sun is a luxury and not a punishment. Yeah, I can understand.
Like, we can't. When I lived in San Francisco for about 8 years, it took me a while to be like, to get past that, like, oh my gosh, the sun is out, I have to go outside. Because it was like, you know, San Francisco's not like known for being sunny, but it would be sunny like most of the year, like at least part of the day. So you're like, I better go outside and do something. But like, well, you also have to like do work, etc.
Yeah. We've strayed a little from hair, but I want to circle back. Not that the sun isn't a great thing to talk about.
Love you, sun.
Nor is my Victorian child suffering with some form of tuberculosis, lack of tan. When you had that infamous bad haircut, and maybe if you'll let us, I'll put the picture up on the YouTube or in a social media clip or something, you guys can see it. I will also include some of my most famous bad haircuts. How did you feel? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's a really good. I think that you kind of like were getting to this, whereas like sometimes you can have a bad haircut, and other people be like, well, it's not that big of a deal, but you're like, this messes with my entire identity. Like, this is not how I see myself, and it has shaken me to my core. Yeah, I felt it was. I feel like it wasn't like. Maybe it was my first after pandemic haircut kind of thing. I have this thing, which for a long time I would always do this, where I basically just grow my hair out until I can't stand it anymore. After I had that amazing hairstylist in San Francisco, where I had short hair. I like to have short hair, but to have short hair requires maintenance. And I just grow my hair out until I can't take it, and then get a haircut, and then do it again over and over again. And so obviously during the pandemic that went to extreme levels. And it was just, it was too shocking. It was too shocking. And I also don't like to do anything to my hair. Like, I don't have products. I don't even rarely wash my hair. But I'm definitely not going to, like, flat iron my bangs. And so even, at least now, I think maybe something happens when you turn about 40, where I finally feel like I'm an adult enough to, like, say what I want. And then when I say what I want, I get what I want. Surprise, surprise. Like, just accept to this hairstylist that I have now, who I really like. And I got my haircut from her, and then I just keep going back because I'm like, can you just, like, I don't want a haircut that makes me look like I'm 60. You know what I mean? I do want it short, but I don't want that, like, old lady short haircut. No offense to old ladies. Love them. But, so now I get basically a toddler haircut. I'm just like, cut it all the way around. And also layers. See, my hair is like pretty wavy and hugely thick. And I was always getting layers and bangs. And I think I've just become like, when I was young at one point, someone was like, oh no, your hair is like a triangle. You don't want that triangle hair. And so then I've been getting layers like ever since that. Because my hair does like turn into a triangle. And now I'm just like, I accept it. I like my triangle hair. I
think you have the Mrs. Incredible haircut,
okay.
Which I think is a compliment. It is. I think it is a form of a mom haircut, but it's definitely like it's a more stylish mom haircut.
Yeah.
And also, I'm also about a utilitarian haircut.
Mm-hmm.
My hair used to be really, really thick, and now I have all these like I'm sick. I'm a sickly human, so now my hair is
not
thin.
Funny. I don't know. I'm laughing.
No.
Destiny.
No, it's fine. You can laugh. But my hair just falls out at an exponential rate, and it's very thin now. Yeah. So I used to also have to get thinning haircuts, which is, I think, what you were talking about.
Totally.
Yeah.
They would, like, do all kinds of things to thin it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have that problem anymore. I have the opposite problem.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but I've given up on it. I'm like, just cut it around. No bangs. I think, like, I did have really cute bangs for a long time, actually, but my hair was different in San Francisco, too, because it's really humid, and oh, my hair's the best there. Now it's just like, poof, and also, you are not dealing with this because you dye your hair. You don't even know what. And you're also 10 years younger than me. I've started getting, like, gray hair, which you can really tell when you have, like, almost black hair. And I think I want to, like, lean into it, you know? I think, because then I will have hair you can dye, like, a color. And it's kind of like, I would love to be, like, have that crazy hair, gray hair, and, like, I don't know.
I could have grays. I would just never know.
Right.
My mom's also ginger, so her grays are real hard to see.
Wait, did you tell me you were ginger when you were little?
I was ginger when I was little.
That's so cute.
I was ginger, and then I was a towhead, and then they call it dishwater blonde. It's like somewhere between strawberry and dirty. It's not very
dirty
flattering.
Strawberry blonde.
Yeah, like a strawberry that rolled in a field, which is fine. But yeah, I've just been dyeing it for so long. So hair crazy. Listen,
maybe
hair
we
is
get
important.
Haircuts, like pictures of good haircuts when we were kids too. I feel like I had a real, well, I had short hair.
Mm-hmm.
And there is my 4th grade school picture. Everyone thought I was a boy. I didn't disabuse them of that notion really very often, even though, like, sometimes I would get really angry about it, but usually I didn't. I was like, I knew what I was doing. I didn't want to have long hair. But anyway, there was just this one haircut that I had. It's just like, who let them do that to this poor 4th grade girl?
If I can find it, I'm just gonna say my mom was a teen mom, so in my early years she didn't really, she's a new mom, but also like barely a person, right?
Yeah.
And so my Nana she asked my Nana how to cut my bangs. My bangs were growing out. My Nana said, just follow the line of her eyebrows. So I walked around looking like Edward Munster, like fully just like Eminem or like McDonald's, like M in my face, because she literally followed the line of my eyebrows. It was like a full Amelia Bedelia moment. I think there are photos somewhere if I can find them.
We're gonna look for these photos.
Yeah, well, I'll ask my mom if she has any. But I have many bang. I wore my hair long until I was about in probably middle school. I cut it like the length of yours, which is above the shoulders. And then for years, like when I first moved here to Oregon, I had a pixie cut that I shaved really tight in the back because I do not like the back of my neck to get hot. It makes me so grumpy. And once I recognized that, like when you're just in like a shit mood and you're like, why? And I'm like, it's literally because my neck is hot.
I love figuring out things like that. Like, oh, I'm so mad, everything is terrible, and then you like eat a banana and you're like, oh no, I was just
that's me with the back of my neck getting hot. So I had my hair short because I lived in a hot hellish place, Florida, for a long time. Now I'm out here and my hair's long again, longish, long for me, because it's cold here a lot. That's nice.
Yeah, I think hair crazy, you will find someone new.
Yeah, and intrinsically, you'll figure out a hair situation that works for you.
Right.
Even if you don't find a new person, you start putting it up, you'll do whatever. Like, it's really...
Right.
It's small potatoes.
Yeah. And even, that bad haircut, like, that was just right after I left. When somebody does my hair after they cut it, like, whatever, zhuzhes it up, I almost always hate that.
Yeah, I ask them not to zhuzh because I don't like it.
Yeah, now at this point with this person who cuts my hair, she doesn't even dry it. She understands me. She gets me. She's like, do you want me to blow dry it? No, thanks.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And 1, finding your voice, and 2, finding a hair person who's not weird.
Yeah. I mean, it only took 40 years, so... Maybe hair crazy will get there someday.
Yeah. Hair crazy, I want that for you.
Yeah,
but the moral of the story is, you need a new hair cutter, and maybe tell your friends not to go see this person.
Yeah, totally.
That's all.
No need to go on Yelp, but just don't tell your friends.
Yeah. Let's not treat social media fire with social media fire.
Oh gosh, yes, that is a really important. Yeah, definitely do not get on social media and comment on the situation at all. all.
No, but if you feel like you want to get on social media and make comments that maybe are out of pocket, send them to Lizzy instead.
Oh, yeah, totally.
You can email her at lacker, A-C-K-E-R, so lacker, L-A-C.
Like Slacker with no S.
At Oregonian.com. You can also email me. I'm at djohnson@Oregonian.com. I'm not going to give you advice, but I'll make sure it gets to Lizzy.
Yeah.
You can also text her.
Text me using subtext, which is this cool thing we've got. And all you got to do is go to joinsubtext.com/why though, W-H-O-T, nope, W-H-Y-T-H-O. Thank you, Destiny. This is why 2 brains are better than 1. She's just shaking her head at me. No, Lizzy. And you get a 2-week free trial, and then it's $3.99 a month. A small price to pay to talk to me directly. And I'll talk to you too.
Yeah, and you can send us your advice instead of subtweeting somebody who's going to see it and then make a problem in your adult life.
Yeah.
Send it to us instead, and we'll talk about you anonymously and give you some advice.
Happily.
Yeah.
That's actually our professional job at this moment.
Yeah, it's mostly Lizzy's job. I'm just here along for the ride, I'll be honest. But I'm glad to be along for the ride. It's
important that you're along for this ride because, like you just found out, I do need someone to just shake their head at me sometimes.
I'm here to wrangle the cats. That's my professional job.
As a cat.
So, how do you think you advised?
I think I advised. I think I'm going to distill this conversation, and then next week, this is the column.
Absolutely, and you'll be able to find that at OregonLive.com, as well as like why those from the past, many why those from the past. So if you're craving more why though content, listen to our first episode. We talk a little bit about who we are. Read those columns. Send us an email. Send us a text. Carrier pigeon.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever.
You can tweet at us too. You are allowed to tweet. Just make it nice, you know.
So yeah, talk to us. Talk at us. We are. Want to be your new internet BFFs if you'll have us.
Yeah.
And so I think we appropriately advised today.
I think we did. And you know what? We are really good friends. So if you're looking for new internet BFFs, like, we'll do that job for you.
Yeah, for sure. I love to chat and gossip.
Next week. Send us gossip. Oh my gosh. If you have gossip, send it. And if you want, if you don't want it on the podcast, you just want to send us gossip, you just say, here's some gossip. Don't talk about this. I just wanted you to know. Yeah. Yeah. If you need to spill the tea and you don't have anyone in your life to spill, you have us. Yeah, yeah. And next week we'll be back. Yeah. And we will have another question to chat about. In our first episode, we did a little Am I the Jerk Reddit segment. We'll bring those back periodically, but not all the time. So if you're waiting for that, it's not happening today. But could happen next week. Yeah. Who knows? We'll see. But we'll be back with more sage advice. Yeah. Thanks so much for listening with us. Yeah. We hope that you liked our advice. Get a hold of us one of the many ways or find a creative way. Yeah. Don't send anything creepy to the office, though. Right. But we appreciate you. Thanks so much for listening. Yeah, thank you. It's awesome that you came along for this hair journey. And we're going to be back next week. What day, Destiny? Wednesdays? Thursdays. And read Lizzy's column. Most importantly, read Lizzy's column because you can see this sort of harebrained conversation distilled into some actual usable advice that you'll be able to take with you into your life. Share with all your friends. A woman who is, I would say, very well grounded and good at giving advice. I'd take advice from her. Thank you. Yeah. We'll see you guys next week. It. Bye. See you next week. Bye. Thanks for listening to Why Though, the podcast. Subscribe for weekly episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, and don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. If you're looking for more Why Though, check out my column that comes out every Tuesday on OregonLive.com. You can go to OregonLive.com/Why Though, WHYTHO, for everything Why Though. And you can support our local journalism by going to OregonLive.com/pod support.